I transmigrated into the son of City A's richest man. Coincidentally, the male lead intern and I happened to share the same birthday. Yet my fiancée, the female lead, abandoned me. She went to the seaside to celebrate the birthday of an intern. She said, "George, so many people are here to celebrate your birthday, but Makoto has only me. What's there for you to be upset about?" I smiled and didn't argue with her, but I really wanted to see if, the next day when she found out her family had gone bankrupt, she would still stick to that pretty boy without wavering. Chapter 1. I transmigrated into the body of a useless male supporting role. George, the son of the richest man in City A. On the very first day I crossed over, it happened to be my birthday. Almost all the young heirs and heiresses of City A had gathered for the celebration. Only my fiancée was nowhere to be seen. Inside the private room, everyone cast curious glances my way. I lounged lazily on the sofa, sipping red wine, my eyes deep and unreadable. Beside me, my friend David clinked glasses with me. He glanced at his watch, frowning. "George, it's your birthday today. Why hasn't your fiancée shown up yet? What's going on with her?" Just then, a gasp of surprise rippled through the crowd. Everyone turned to see what was happening. When their eyes returned to me, their expressions had become complicated, some mocking, some sympathetic, and some gloating over my misfortune. David's face darkened as he handed me his phone. On the screen was my fiancée's latest social media post. On the terrace of a seaside villa, she was half kneeling on the ground, personally fastening a $1 million watch onto the wrist of an intern. Their eyes were locked, brimming with intimacy. Beside them stood a massive cake. The caption read, "The best you deserve, the most beautiful scenery and the finest gift. Happy birthday. May my Makoto always be happy." Damn it, Willow is really something else. I'm calling her right now. David looked angrier than I felt. It took several attempts before the call went through. On the other end, I could hear strong wind and the sound of waves. "Willow, what the hell is going on between you and that intern?" David's tone was sharp, his face full of anger. Willow frowned audibly, her voice tinged with irritation. "David, are you interrogating me?" David suppressed his anger. "You've been with George for so many years. Don't tell me you don't know today is his birthday." At his words, Willow's voice faltered for a brief moment. I motioned for David to hand me the phone, which he quickly did. I spoke in an icy tone. "Where are you right now?" Willow recognized my voice, and for a split second, her tone wavered. "George, I'm still on a business trip. I can't make it back for now. I'll make it up to you next time for your birthday." "Heh, by business trip, you mean going to the seaside to date and flirt with an intern, celebrating his birthday?" I didn't hesitate to cut her off. "What date and flirt? Don't make it sound so nasty." Willow's voice sharpened with irritation. "I've told you before, I've always seen Makoto as a younger brother. He's just started his internship and is under a lot of work pressure. What's wrong with me keeping him company for his birthday?" Then, in the background, came a pitiful male voice. "Miss Willow, is President Wong upset because you're celebrating my birthday? I know I'm not worthy. Maybe you should just go back. I can spend it alone. Don't worry about me." Willow immediately comforted him. "How could I possibly leave you here all by yourself? If George were even half as considerate as you, I wouldn't be so annoyed with him." Then she turned her icy voice back to me through the phone. "George, can you stop being so unreasonable? It's just a birthday. You have so many people to celebrate with you. Makoto only has me. What's there for you to fuss about? You're the president of Wong Corporation. Is it really necessary to get jealous over an intern? You really are something." As expected, the original cowardly George's endless indulgence had emboldened Willow to act so brazenly. I let out a cold laugh. "Willow, have you forgotten who it was that gave the Liu family everything they have today? Since you don't know how to appreciate kindness, don't blame me for being merciless." With that, I hung up the phone, my face dark and cold. Chapter 2. Having just transmigrated here, I still hadn't fully sorted out the plot of the original novel. I quickly ran through it again in my mind. The George in the book was nothing more than a tool used to pave the way for the male and female leads' love and careers. He and Willow had been childhood sweethearts. He always granted her every request. After they both graduated from university, the Liu family took the initiative to propose an engagement between the two families, although the Wong family looked down on the Lius. When the old master saw the pleading sincerity in George's eyes, he finally relented. From then on, Liu Corporation began to soar. The original George used every Wong family resource to pave the way for them. From a small workshop on the brink of bankruptcy, to a rising star among second-tier wealthy families. As for the male lead, he was a poor student sponsored by the Liu family. The moment he started his internship at Liu Corporation, everything changed. Willow revolved around Makoto day and night. She used George's supplementary credit card to buy him bespoke suits and $1 million watches. When George and the intern shared the same birthday, she didn't hesitate to abandon her fiancé and go celebrate with the intern instead. Even when George had a severe cold and a fever of 39 degrees Celsius, lying in the hospital receiving in 4, she was in a nightclub booth, clinking glasses in an intimate toast with Makoto. The video made its way online. The title was blinding. Lou Eris parties all night with her pretty boy lover. Yet even then, George still loved Willow deeply, forgiving her again and again, thinking that once they married, she would settle down. After the wedding, George loved and spoiled her even more. But to his shock, Willow caused a major car accident that killed George's parents on the spot. George himself was later tormented to death by Willow and Makoto. Willow, in high heels, ground them hard into the back of his hand, her eyes full of venom. George, if you hadn't used your power to force me to marry you, I would have been with Makoto long ago. Someone as cruel as you deserves to rot in hell. Makoto crouched down, laughing wildly. You think Willow ever really loved you? What she loved was the Wong family's money. Your parents' car accident. We arranged that. Now Wong Corporation and Lu Corporation are both ours. You're truly pathetic. After George died, that pair of scumbags ended up together, living a blissful life. Unexpectedly, George was reborn. But instead of seeking revenge, he merely burned all the gifts he had given Willow, silently set a countdown to leave, and one day suddenly disappeared from her world. In the end, facing a Willow who had finally woken up and was chasing after him in regret, he said, "Willow, I don't love you anymore." When I read this, I cursed out loud. Was this really something a human could write? But before I could finish ranting, I was pulled straight into the book. Chapter 3. I pulled my thoughts back to the present and took out my phone to call my assistant. The call connected quickly. My voice was cold, stripped of all emotion. Assistant Ku, starting tomorrow, cancel all cooperation with Lu Corporation. Target every single one of their business operations. Also, check whether there's been any illegal activity in our years of cooperation with them. Yes, President Wong. Did they really think I was the same pathetic pushover as the original George? Since I'm here now, I might as well have some fun with them. After I hung up, the atmosphere in the private room froze instantly. Those looks that had once been full of sympathy or mockery, now turned into wide-eyed disbelief. Everyone knew just how pathetically I had loved Willow. Even when she scolded me in public, I would only bow my head and endure it silently. But the cold, decisive tone I'd used in that phone call just now hadn't the slightest shadow of that former doormat. David's wine glass stopped midair, his eyes fixed on me in shock. He'd known me for over a decade, but it was as if he were seeing me clearly for the first time. I tossed my phone to David and said casually, "Forget about her. Let's enjoy ourselves. If she's Southwest eager to court death, then I'll gladly help send the Lu family on their way." David knew very well, 70% of Lu Corporation's business came from Wong Group. After today, Lu Corporation wouldn't have a foothold left in City A family whose arrogance depended entirely on the Wong name, yet dared to drag Wong Group's face through the dirt. If Lu Corporation went bankrupt, it would be nothing more than reaping what they'd sown. David had originally worried I cared for Willow too much, afraid I'd be under her thumb after marriage. But now, seeing I'd woken up, he was happier than I was. "You're right. This time we have to make Willow understand her place. Come on, drink up." The private room instantly turned lively again. Chapter 4. After the call ended, Willow's face paled slightly. A wave of inexplicable panic washed over her. Her best friend Maria asked in puzzlement, "Willow, what did George say?" Willow's expression turned unpleasant. He actually seemed really angry this time. His tone was harsh. Maria scoffed. "Please, you just came out to celebrate Makoto's birthday. What's there to be mad about? And besides, you two aren't even married yet. If he's already this controlling now, what's going to happen after you're married? I'm telling you, you can't spoil men too much. Take this chance to knock that temper of his into shape." Hearing that, Willow felt George was just making a fuss over nothing. "Maria, you're right as always. He's treated me so well all this time. This is just him throwing a tantrum. When I get back, if he doesn't properly apologize to me, I won't forgive him easily." Makoto immediately put on a guilty look. "I'm sorry, Willow. It's all my fault. I didn't even know today was also President Wong's birthday." As he spoke, tears began to fall. "I know you're usually so busy. I just wanted to use my birthday to give you a chance to relax. I really didn't think President Wong would be upset. This is all my fault. When we get back, I'll go apologize to him myself. If he wants to yell at me or hit me, I won't fight back. Just don't let this affect the relationship you've built over so many years." Seeing Makoto's tears drip down, Willow's heart ached for him. She hurried to wipe them away. "Makoto, you're just too kind. This has nothing to do with you. I've spent so many birthdays with him already. What more does he want? It's George who's being petty. When we get back, I'll make him apologize to you." Makoto lowered his head, eyes rimmed red, but the corner of his lips curled into a triumphant smile. He leaned into Willow's embrace. his voice trembling slightly. "Willow sis, you're so good to me. Unlike my life before, which was so hard, with no one to care for me. You're the only one who's ever treated me like a real brother." Those words hit Willow right in her soft spot. She didn't push him away. Instead, she gently patted his back, her gaze full of pity. "From now on, you'll have me to care for you, as long as I'm here. If anyone dares bully you, I won't let them off. From now on, I'll celebrate your birthday with you every single year." Chapter 5. The next morning, Diego Liu, head of the Liu family, had just arrived at the office when his secretary came hurrying over in high heels, her face filled with unprecedented panic. "Miss Liu, bad news. Early this morning, our investors called to say they're pulling out." "What?" Diego's eyes widened, disbelief written all over his face. The secretary's expression was grave as she continued. "Miss Liu, it's not just one. All of our investors and partners have unilaterally canceled their cooperation with us. And the bank just called too. They said Liu Corporation's credit rating isn't sufficient. Our loans have been frozen. They're demanding we immediately repay all previous loans, or they'll take us to court." Diego grabbed the secretary's arm, his knuckles turning white. "What did you say? Say it again." Startled, her voice trembled. "All of our partnerships, they're all gone. The loans too. How is that even possible?" Diego refused to believe it. Many of his projects were already halfway complete. If both investors and suppliers pulled out, and the bank demanded repayment, Liu Corporation would face an unprecedented crisis. One wrong step, and the entire Liu family could collapse overnight. After all, these people had only agreed to work with the Lius because of the Wang family's influence. The Wang family practically ruled City A's business world. If they pulled funding and canceled deals now, weren't they afraid of offending the Wangs? Just then, another secretary came rushing in, her voice shaking. "Miss Liu, the construction site just called the president's office. Many of our sites have been inspected and ordered to shut down. They said our projects have safety hazards." Bang! Diego exploded, smashing a priceless crystal ornament on his desk to the ground. It shattered into pieces with a loud crack, making both secretaries jump in fright. The veins on Diego's forehead bulged. "Something's not right. This is far too strange. Who dares to move against my Liu family? They must have a death wish." As long as the Wang family hadn't abandoned them, none of this would be a problem. Everything could still be salvaged. Calming himself down slightly, Diego felt a bit more at ease. He quickly pulled out his phone with trembling hands and called me. Chapter 6. I sat in the top floor office of Wang Group's headquarters, coldly watching my phone ring non-stop. The caller ID read, Diego Liu. Spread out before me was a stack of his files: financial fraud, tax evasion, commercial scams. The Liu family had been running rampant under the shelter of the Wang family's name, utterly lawless. With this pile of evidence, he could easily spend the rest of his life behind bars. It wasn't until the fifth call came in that I finally answered at a leisurely pace. On the other end, Diego's voice was so frantic he was nearly in tears. "George, you finally answered. Early this morning I got word that all of Liu Corporation's investors and partners have pulled out and canceled their contracts. Do you know what's going on?" My tone was icy, devoid of any warmth. "Oh, is that so? Seems they reacted quite quickly." Diego's heart sank. He stammered nervously. "George, what do you mean by that?" I said flatly, Wang Group is terminating all cooperation with Liu Corporation. The announcement will be out shortly. On the other end, it was as if Diego had been struck by lightning, standing there completely stunned. If losing other investors and partners had already thrown Liu Corporation into chaos, then losing Wang Group meant certain annihilation. Before he could even ask why, I had already hung up. Diego stayed frozen in the posture of holding his phone. The beep, 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 echoing in his ear like a hammer, pounding again and again on his skull, leaving his mind blank. Wang Group is canceling cooperation. He muttered to himself, his face turning from pale to ashen, until his knees gave out and he collapsed into his office chair. The two secretaries were so frightened they didn't dare make a sound. The entire office fell into a deathly silence. No, impossible. George loves Willow so much. How could he possibly cancel the cooperation? Diego mumbled, then suddenly seemed to realize something. The foundation of Liu Corporation's partnership with Wang Group was George's relationship with his daughter. Canceling the cooperation obviously meant there was a problem between the two. Once he locked onto that point, he quickly had people dig for the reason, and when he heard it, he was completely stunned. He could hardly believe his ears. What? You're saying Willow didn't spend George's birthday with him yesterday, but went to the seaside to celebrate with an intern instead, and even posted about it online to show off? Chapter 7. Yes, Miss Liu. A lot of people were there last night and heard President Wang give the order in person. Not only will he cancel all cooperation with our Lu Corporation, he's also ordering a thorough investigation into whether we've engaged in any illegal practices during our years of working together. A rush of fury shot straight to Diego's head, his vision darkening. He sprang from his chair, grabbed a stack of documents from his desk, and hurled them violently to the floor, papers scattered everywhere, a few drifting to the secretary's feet. Unfilial daughter, that wretched girl. Diego's whole body shook with rage, his voice going hoarse from the sheer force of it. How did I ever raise such an ungrateful brat? Do you have any idea who George is? She's just slapped the Wang family in the face in front of everyone. Does she want the Lu family to die faster? The two secretaries shrank their necks and kept their heads down, not daring to breathe. This was the first time they'd ever seen Diego lose his temper like this. Diego took a deep breath and quickly dialed Willow's number. The call connected almost immediately. Willow, Diego roared into the phone. You unfilial child, look at the mess you've made. Get back here this instant. To his shock, Willow didn't sound the least bit worried. Instead, she asked, Dad, why are you so worked up? Did George go crying to you? It was Makoto's birthday. No one else was with him, so I took him out for a bit of fun. What's wrong with that? Why are you making such a big deal out of it? The truth was, the Lu family had only risen to their current status because of Willow. Her position at home had risen accordingly. Even Diego often had to humor her. Over time, Willow stopped treating her father with any real respect. Diego was livid, his chest ready to explode. Do you have any idea? Because of your willfulness, the Wang family has cancelled their cooperation with us. Are you trying to destroy the Lu family completely? Willow let out a cold laugh. Oh, please. George has obeyed me since we were kids. Calling him my simp wouldn't be an exaggeration. This is just his way of trying to force me to back down. How childish. Once I go back and coax him a little, it'll be fine. Do you really think he'd dare to go after the Lu Corporation for real? Diego could hardly believe what he was hearing. With investors pulling out and partners canceling contracts, the situation was already a raging fire, and she still thought George was just joking. Chapter 8. But the next second, a sickly sweet, overly affected male voice drifted through the phone, the kind of tone that made Diego's stomach turn. Willow, stop answering the phone. The tuna sashimi today is really good, try some. Here, Willow, let me feed you. Makoto, you're such a good boy. Diego's roar erupted again. Willow, do you want to drive me to my grave? Do you want to see the Lu family ruined before you'll be satisfied? That shout made Willow's brows knit tightly. If it weren't for her, would the Lu family even be where it was today? Her own temper flared, and she raised her voice. Dad, will you quit it already? I told you. George is just throwing a tantrum. Look at how worked up you are. You don't even have the dignity of a Lu family patriarch right now. Enough. Stop calling me. I'm eating with Makoto, and you're ruining the mood. With that, Willow hung up without hesitation. No matter how many times Diego called back, she didn't pick up again. Diego's vision went black, and he nearly collapsed on the spot. He couldn't believe he had raised such a brainless daughter. The marriage alliance between the Lu and Wang families had been a sure thing, but now, at this critical juncture, they were getting played by a poor student they'd once sponsored. Even if Willow liked Makoto, she should have kept it private. Could something like this be flaunted openly? She even had the audacity to post about it online. The Wang family wasn't just the richest in City A, they ranked in the top 3 on the international rich list. Did she really think the Wangs were fools? Diego smashed his phone to pieces, his breathing ragged, pacing back and forth anxiously in his office. He suddenly stopped, a ruthless glint flashing in his eyes. Send someone to the seaside villa. Bring those 2 idiots back, immediately. The seaside wasn't far from City A. At top speed, they could be back by afternoon. They had to calm George down at any cost. Otherwise, the Lu family was finished. Right now, all of Lu Corporation's projects were already at a standstill. Diego still had a few old friends from his business circles, and he wasn't about to sit and wait for death. He called them one by one, but without exception, either no one picked up, or if they did, they hung up after a few perfunctory words, claiming they were busy. It was the first time Diego had truly felt the crushing weight of the Wang family's influence, and it filled him with despair. Chapter 9. I was flipping through Makoto's file when my assistant knocked and entered, looking uneasy. President Wang, the head of the nursing home, just called. Makoto's mother has been physically abusing staff without reason. Also, several valuable items have gone missing recently, and according to security footage, it's very likely she was the one who stole them. But since Miss Lu was the one who arranged for her to stay there, they didn't dare take action without your approval, so they called to ask. I froze for a moment, then recalled that this had indeed happened in the original story. The Wang family's private nursing home was located in the forest park at the heart of the city, with convenient transport, a tranquil environment, and every leisure and entertainment facility one could want. It was the finest nursing home in the entire province, perhaps even the country. Its residents were all high-ranking officials, wealthy elites, or their close relatives. Even retired senior officials would stay there for a while each year. Willow had arranged for Makoto's mother to live there, and the original George, that pathetic pushover, wouldn't have dared object. But I wasn't the original, and I certainly wasn't going to indulge her. I put away Makoto's file, stood up, and said, "Assistant Ku, let's go take a look at the nursing home." "Yes, President Wang." Ku hurried to follow my pace. When we arrived outside Makoto's mother's room, we heard loud, shrill shouting from inside. "I'm here because your President Wang's fiancée personally arranged it. You lowlifes who look down on people, if you don't serve me properly, I'll have President Wang fire every last one of you. Get out, all of you, get out." A group of young nurses came out crying, clutching their swollen faces. Chapter 10. Ito's mother was lying in bed. The floor beneath was littered with sunflower seed shells and banana peels. She had one leg crossed over the other as she pulled out her phone and made a call. "Son, have you gotten Willow yet or not? The staff here at this nursing home are all useless lowlifes who look down on people. You tell Willow to hand this nursing home over to you. Let's see if anyone here dares look down on me again." Makoto's voice came through the line. "Don't worry, Mom. Just give me a little more time. I'll definitely get Willow. George is just a pathetic pushover. Once they're married, I'll have plenty of ways to make sure George dies without a burial place. By then, never mind the nursing home, everything the Wang Group owns will be ours." Standing at the doorway, I listened to Ito's mother and Makoto's arrogant little scheme, amusement flickering in my eyes. Beside me, Assistant Ku and the nursing home director looked so furious their faces had gone pale. Ito's mother was grinning from ear to ear. "Oh, right. Son, I just happened to get my hands on a jade bracelet a few days ago. The quality is excellent. You can tell it's worth a fortune at a glance. When you come back, I'll give it to you. You can use it to please Willow. She'll love it." "Mom, be careful not to let anyone find out. Those people have powerful backgrounds. Once we take over the Wang family, we'll have all the good things we could ever want." Ito's mother scoffed. "Please, when has your mother ever slipped up? And even if I were caught, isn't Willow there to cover for me? You think she'd just let me be?" Her mouth dry from talking, she shouted toward the door. "Someone, where are you nurses? Hurry up and bring me some water. Do you want to let me die of thirst?" I let out a cold laugh and nodded for the director to open the door. When she saw us, Ito's mother froze for a moment. "Who are you? Get out. Who said you could come in?" "Who am I?" I stepped up to her bed, looking down at her from above. "I'm the owner of this nursing home, George." Chapter 11. Ito's mother's expression changed, but she quickly put her arrogance back on. "So you're that pathetic little, I'll have you know. I was personally arranged here by your fiancée Willow. You'd better show me some respect." "Respect?" I turned to the director. "Director Ning, gather all the evidence of her behavior here over the past few days, assaulting staff, stealing property, file a police report." "Yes, President Wang." Director Ning immediately pulled out his phone to make arrangements. Ito's mother's face went pale and she panicked. She scrambled to sit up. You can't do this. Do you believe I won't have Willow break off your engagement on the spot?" I couldn't be bothered to argue. Security quickly rushed in. Director Ning barked. "Restrain her immediately. The police are on their way. Don't let her move the stolen goods." The nurses she'd slapped earlier lit up with excitement and rushed forward to help. Ito's mother shook with rage, cursing furiously. "What are you doing? Don't touch my things. I'm not a thief. You bastards. These are my personal belongings. Put them down. Once Willow comes back, you'll regret this." The police arrived soon after. Director Ning had already reported that the stolen jewelry was worth tens of millions. The police took the case very seriously. No matter how much Ito's mother screamed and rolled around, no one paid her any mind. They quickly found an imperial green jade bracelet in her bag, the very same bracelet that had been reported stolen and registered with the authorities in recent days. Every detail matched perfectly. It was a classic case of being caught red-handed. I glanced at her phone. Her call with Makoto was still connected. On the other end, Makoto was raging helplessly. "Mom, just wait. I'm going to find Willow right now. I'll have her come out and save you." "George, you bastard, if you touch my mom, I'll never let you get away with it." Once I was done with his mother, he was next. Chapter 12. Soon after, the police found more items on Ito's mother, a necklace and an emerald ring. The moment they were pulled out, a few onlooking ladies stepped forward to claim them. "That necklace is mine. I've been looking for it for ages, so this old woman stole it." "That ring's mine. You damn thief." No ordinary people lived in Wang Group's private nursing home, and now, the combined value of these items exceeded 10 million yuan. Ito's mother was unlikely to ever see the outside world again. She collapsed to the ground, trying to defend herself. No, this isn't stealing. I just thought they were pretty and borrowed them to play with. I'll give them back right now. George, no. President Wong, I was wrong. Please, for Willow's sake, help me. Ah, damn you, George, you bastard. When my son and Willow come back, you'll regret this. But with the stolen goods and their owners both right there, the police had no patience for her excuses. They took her away on the spot. I had the nursing home present each of the distinguished residents who'd lost valuable items, with a supreme gold card granting them 5 years of completely free service at the home. As for the staff members who'd been bullied, each received a generous cash compensation. When I walked out of the nursing home, I took out my phone, only to see dozens of missed calls from Willow, along with a string of messages. George, how long are you going to keep this up? Get Makoto's mom out right now. Are you seriously making such a big deal over something so small? All I did was celebrate Makoto's birthday, and you've blown it into all this. Can't you be more reasonable? I'm telling you, when I get back, you'd better kneel and apologize to Makoto, or I'll never forgive you. The corner of my lips curled coldly as I replied with just one message. Sure, then don't you ever forgive me. Chapter 13. At the seaside villa, Willow's knuckles turned white around her phone when she saw my reply. Her chest heaved with fury. Oh, George, just you wait, let's see how I deal with you when I get back. She squeezed Makoto's hand, her voice turning soft. Makoto, don't worry, as long as I'm here, nothing will happen to your mother. I'll make sure you get an explanation. Makoto's eyes were red, tears flowing freely. It's all my fault. If I hadn't asked you to spend my birthday with me, none of this would have happened. Willow, you're all I have. Willow's heart ached, and she pulled him into her arms, her resentment toward George deepening. Maria curled her lip. Willow, I told you long ago, you've been too good to George, and that's why he's gotten so arrogant. This time, you absolutely cannot forgive him easily. I know. Maria, pack your things, we're going back right now to settle this with George. Just then, the villa's doorbell rang sharply. Willow and Maria exchanged a glance. There were no other houses nearby, and they only came here occasionally for vacations. Who could possibly have found this place? When Willow opened the door, she saw the Liu family's butler standing there with 5 bodyguards. His expression was grim. Miss, the master ordered me to bring you back today no matter what. Please, come with me. Willow had already planned to return, so although her brows furrowed, she didn't argue. The 3 of them were escorted into a business van like criminals. As they entered the city, the butler made a call to Diego. Yes, understood, sir. Hanging up, he turned to Willow. Miss, the master says we're going straight to the Wong family's old estate. Willow, eager to confront George, had no objections, but her face grew darker and darker. Fine, I understand. Chapter 14. The Wong family's old estate, Orange Hill Manor, was the largest private estate in City A. Diego arrived ahead of the others. Since no vehicles were allowed inside Orange Hill Manor, he had to park outside. Standing at the main gate of my residence, he tried to peer inside, and soon spotted the patrolling security guards. He quickly rang the doorbell. Captain Oscar, it's me, Diego. Open the gate. The guards were, of course, familiar with the Liu family, but this time, their eyes held a distinct trace of disdain. Oscar, the head of security and one of my trusted men, had already been given my instructions. Without the slightest politeness, he said, I don't care who you are. Do you have an appointment? Diego froze. In the past, every one of these security personnel had been unfailingly respectful toward him. When had he ever been treated like this? No appointment. Then you'd better leave. Our young master is very busy. He doesn't just meet with any random stray cat or dog. With the words said, Oscar didn't bother speaking further and turned to leave. Diego panicked. Captain Oscar, look at me again. I'm Diego. I come here often. I've never needed an appointment before. Oscar sneered. Exactly. Before, the young master gave orders, without an appointment, you won't be seen. Even with all his self-control, Diego's face showed a flicker of anger. But since he was here to ask for help, he didn't dare lose his temper. Just then, Willow and the others finally arrived. She had overheard every word just spoken. Her anger flared instantly, and she stormed forward to confront him. Well, Oscar, you dare talk to my father like that? Who gave you the guts? Oscar slowly turned, his gaze sweeping over Willow's shadowed expression, his tone dripping with mockery. Miss Liu, the whole of City A knows your Liu family is finished. Do you still think you can strut around Orange Hill Manor like before? Willow shook with fury, jabbing a finger at Oscar's face. And who do you think you are? Just a dog raised by the Wong family, and you dare point fingers at me? Willow, did you forget how much George listens to me? Let me in right now, or I'll have George break all 4 of your limbs. Faced with Willow's arrogance, Oscar began to wonder whether I truly intended to destroy the Liu family, or if I was simply trying to scare them. If it were the latter, and Willow really did marry into the family, offending her too severely would make life difficult for a mere head of security. With that in mind, he decided it was better to check first. After making the call, Oscar's voice turned cold. The young master says only the Liu father and daughter, along with Makoto, are allowed inside. Everyone else waits outside. Chapter 15. After entering the manor, Diego launched into a non-stop account of Liu Corporation's dire state, teetering on the brink of bankruptcy. He had no solutions left, and all his hopes now rested entirely on his daughter. The more Willow listened, the angrier she became. Her fists clenched so tightly her nails dug into her palms. George had always obeyed her every word, nothing more than her personal simp. How dare he? When we reached the main courtyard, she spotted me by the gates, leisurely sipping red wine. She charged toward me, her high heels clacking sharply against the stone path, each step pounding out her fury. George, you still have the mood to drink here? Do you know Makoto's mother is in the police station because of you? And do you even realize the state Liu Corporation is in right now? What exactly are you trying to do? She jabbed a finger at my nose, her pale face taut with rage, spit nearly flying into my face. I rose from my chair and, without a word, slapped her across the face. The sharp crack rang out, startling everyone present. Her head snapped to the side, a bright red mark blooming instantly on her pale cheek. She froze, stunned, clutching her face. She stared at me in disbelief. You hit me. Even my father's never dared to hit me. Her eyes were wide and round, her voice high-pitched from shock. George, how dare you hit me? In her mind, I was forever that obedient pushover, never daring to so much as raise my voice at her, let alone raise a hand. But now, she saw nothing familiar in me, only the chill and indifference in my eyes, utterly devoid of the old flattery and cautiousness. And for the first time, she felt an inexplicable pang of unease. Diego, alarmed, rushed forward to shield Willow, only to be stopped by my bodyguards. He stomped his foot in frustration, shouting at me, George, you've gone too far. Willow is your fiancée. How can you lay a hand on her? Makoto, snapping out of his shock, darted to Willow's side, wrapping an arm around her slim waist and glaring at me. George, you're being barbaric. Even if Willow did something wrong, was it worth hitting her? Willow's face darkened completely. George, I'm truly angry this time. Kneel down and apologize right now, or don't expect me to ever forgive you. Chapter 16. I actually laughed from sheer anger. Even now, this woman still couldn't grasp the situation. Truly the logic of a romance novel heroine. Oscar, since Miss Liu enjoys seeing people kneel so much, why don't you grant her wish? 100 slaps each, let's help them wake up. Oscar's eyes lit up immediately. He'd long had enough of the Liu family and that pretentious pretty boy. With a subtle gesture, the dozen bodyguards behind him moved in, restraining all three in an instant. George, don't you dare. Willow shrieked, trying to struggle free, but the guards held her effortlessly. Diego panicked, shouting, George, what are you doing? I'm your Uncle Liu. Makoto was forced to the ground, his cheek pressed against the cold stone floor, his voice trembling with fear. Willow, help me. Oscar didn't bother replying. He stepped forward and smack. A solid slap landed on Makoto's face. Half his face swelled up almost instantly, blood trickling from the corner of his mouth. Following Oscar's lead, the rest of the guards joined in. The sharp crack of palm against skin echoed through the manor, one after another. Willow was completely stunned. She couldn't fathom it. She had only celebrated Makoto's birthday. How had it come to this? Fear slithered into her heart like a venomous snake. She finally realized, I truly intended to destroy the Liu family. The fiery sting across her cheeks broke her completely, and she cried out, George, I was wrong. I shouldn't have spent your birthday with someone else. Stop, please stop. I really know I was wrong. I ignored her pleas, sipping my wine leisurely. When the 100 slaps were finally done, the three of them looked like swollen, bruised pigs. At last, Willow seemed to understand reality. She crawled over on her knees, clutching at my pant leg with a pitiful expression. George, I was wrong. I really was. Please spare the Liu family. I'll listen to you from now on. I swear there's nothing between me and Makoto. Please don't be mad. Okay. Thinking of the Wang family's tragic fate in the original novel, I felt not a shred of pity for her. I kicked her away, grabbed a stack of documents from the table, and flung them into her face. Willow, take a good look. These are all the records of your father's financial fraud, tax evasion, and commercial scams. If I hand these over, your father won't see the outside of a prison cell for the rest of his life. I nodded to Oscar, who tossed a baseball bat at her feet. If you want me to let you go, you'll have to satisfy me first. Chapter 17. Willow's gaze fell on the baseball bat. Her pupils contracted sharply. Her entire body began to tremble uncontrollably. Makoto, lying on the ground, cried out in a muffled, garbled voice. Willow, don't listen to him. He just wants to torture us. We don't have to beg him. There has to be another way. Diego, watching his daughter's shifting expression, felt his disappointment deepen with every second. He clenched his teeth and roared at her. Willow, what are you still hesitating for? Is that pretty boy more important than your own father and the entire Liu family? Do you really want to watch your father get arrested and the Liu family go bankrupt before you're satisfied? Willow lowered her head, her face unreadable. After a long moment, it seemed she had finally made a decision. When she looked back at Makoto, there was no trace of the warmth she once had, only endless venom. It was all Makoto's fault. If not for him, she would already be the future Mrs. Wang. If not for him, the Liu family would never have fallen to this point. Makoto met her gaze and felt his soul shatter in terror. He thrashed desperately, screaming. Willow, you can't do this. I thought we truly loved each other. Didn't you say you'd always protect me and care for me? Shut up. Willow erupted like a cat whose tail had been stepped on. She swung the baseball bat and brought it down hard on Makoto's leg. Crack. Ah. The sound of bone snapping mixed with a pig-like scream tore through the air. Makoto's face twisted in agony as he rolled wildly on the ground, an endless tide of regret flooding his mind. He hadn't even secured Willow. And already he was crippled, with his mother arrested. What he didn't understand was that in the upper echelons of society, love was worthless. Interests and benefits were the only real creed. Compared to love, Willow loved herself far more. Chapter 18. When I didn't react, Willow gritted her teeth and smashed Makoto's other leg. Ah. Then, without a pause, she brought the bat down again, crushing Makoto's third leg. A pungent, nauseating stench rose into my nostrils, almost making me gag. Makoto passed out cold on the spot. Willow tossed the bat aside and quickly knelt down in front of me. A sickly sweet smile plastered across her face. George, see, the only one I love is you. I really know I was wrong. Please, just give me another chance. I poured the half-finished bottle of red wine over her head, my voice icy. Willow, you were involved in the corporate fraud as well. And just now, your assault was fully recorded. Tell me, if I hand you over to the police, how many years do you think you'll get? The crimson wine streamed down her hair like blood, making her look twisted and grotesque. She froze, her smile instantly stiffening, leaving only shock and deep, suffocating fear. No, no, George, I was wrong. You can't do this to me. Go to Africa. Go see the great grasslands, and don't you ever come back. Otherwise, you know the consequences. Oscar, send all three of them to Africa. Make sure it's handled properly. Yes, young master. No, I'm not going. George, you can't do this to me. She lunged at me like a madwoman, trying to grab my pant leg, but Oscar kicked her hard, sending her sprawling to the floor. The bodyguards quickly dragged all three of them away. No, George, I'm your fiancé. You said you'd love me forever. George, you bastard, how could you do this to me? I was wrong. I really was. I'll never dare again. Their voices trailed off as they were dragged away like dead dogs. I turned to my assistant. Maria played an unsavory role in all this. You'll handle her family. A flash of cold ruthlessness crossed Ku's eyes. Yes, President Wang. I returned inside the manor. With the original's parents abroad, the place felt especially empty. What was even more unbearable, that useless original owner had, in order to please Willow, replaced all the estate staff with men. I immediately summoned the butler and gave him a harsh dressing down. Hire a new team, tea masters, stylists, gardeners, chefs, private doctors, masseuses, cleaners, and more. I have only one requirement. Every single one must be a beautiful woman with a sweet voice who can dance. Every day surrounded by a bunch of men. What kind of life is that? The butler gave me a sly, knowing smile. Understood. Young master, I'll make sure you're satisfied. Young master, will 36D be acceptable?